let's think about Snapchat as Justin Bieber. Okay.
Okay.
You got a huge fan following of the perfect demographic that every advertiser wants so that they can hook you for life.
Bingo. That's why Snap's hot, right?
But the problem is that it's hard to know if they're going to stay with you or move on to the next hot artist.
They're fickle.
Facebook is more like the label. They are constantly trying to cultivate new stuff that's going to be hot, maybe not with that perfect demo, but with the bell curve. And they're always looking to see if they can get an up-and-comer because they have the money to do it.
Well, and the fact that Facebook was able to buy Instagram and that Instagram is now eating Snapchat's lunch proves your point. If Facebook needs to expand into an area, they can buy WhatsApp or they can buy Instagram, and like buying an artist.
I'm so bearish on this. I think this IPO is not a good bet. And obviously people are going to go for IPOs like this because they think there's a chance that they might get a 10x return, even though they know that that's very, very, it's like your one-time only chance to be a VC. The number one reason why I'm bearish is because I don't see any opportunity for them to have any horizontal expansion of use. So you look at, what they do so well is this sense of the ephemeral, of fun, of connecting in the moment. But that doesn't necessarily grow with you, and it doesn't have a lot of expansion capability. I mean, it's kind of like Disney, in the feel of it. And Disney's figured out how to create this huge horizontal umbrella of vertically integrated businesses. I don't see anything in the core values of Snap that would create more value.
What about the argument that they are a camera company? We saw, Snap spectacles last year roll out, and now they're going to be available, not just in those little kiosks that you could have to fly to some town in Deadwood, South Dakota to find them, but you could actually get them more readily.
I actually bought mine at a premium on eBay just so I could.
How much did you pay for them?
Actually, only $200, so it wasn't a huge premium.
And how often do you use them now?
They're sitting on my dresser charging.
Yeah, I figured.
But it was cool to have. And I wanted it, it's part of my job is to see, what is going on here. Doesn't this remind you, though, a little bit of the conversation before Facebook went public and people saying, come on, they haven't licked mobile. They're going to be completely disenfranchised once everybody goes to their phone. There was a lot of debate over whether people should buy Facebook stock.
I will say, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the question was at the time that their ads platform, it was nascent, and people were wondering, is this really going to catch on? And they're going up against the beast that's Google, that's Google AdWords. Are you going to be able to slay that beast? And it turns out, they did.
I said at the time, if you're buying Facebook, you're betting on Mark Zuckerberg. That's what you're betting on. You're betting on that this guy will figure it out.
Despite Alan Kay's words to the contrary that all software companies should make their own hardware, is there a good example of an app or software company going into the hardware business that has been successful? I mean, I think of hardware as the death knell. I mean, just talk to GoPro or, some of the other hardware companies, especially camera companies, to your point, Clayton, that have bombed.
Well, Amazon, that's the big counterexample.
Yeah, they've done quite well with Echo and tablets. And
good point.
Right.
Not the Fire Phone. Microsoft went from being a software company to being a software and hardware company.
But at its core, Snapchat is a camera app, right?
App.
It's a camera
You're not saying a physical camera. You're saying the app.
Yeah, exactly. And we see spectacles as sort of like a whimsical play on that idea of the app. But this idea that the Snapchat camera filter could pop up in the Facebook app. That you want to take a snap inside your Facebook app as a feature. I mean, that's where I could see it going, but I don't see it. Yeah, to your point, Becky, I don't see it expanding across horizons. We're going to have a Snapchat-style home theater device that we're going to be able to say, hey, Snap, what's the weather today? I'm going to get some answers, and it's going to be able to open my garage door. I don't know. I don't see it going.
I like what you said, Becky.
Or even the ability for it to grow with the audience. Like, I don't see a 39-year-old mom in 20 years, sending a snap to her PTA friend like, why now, bitches? Like, that's not, I don't see that happening.
I think you made the right point, which is that you compared it to labels and artists, but I'd say platform versus apps. That Facebook's a platform, and that Snapchat's just an app. And yet, just as when I said, if you're investing in Facebook stock, you're investing in Mark Zuckerberg, you could say you're investing in Evan Spiegel, the founder of Snap. This guy has shown that he knows how to at least reach that very valuable demographic.
Can I turn the conversation to Mark Zuckerberg's letter and manifesto?
We can do that
week?
in a moment. Yes,
I'm interested in your thoughts.
Yeah,
I want to hear what you think.
David, before we move on, would you? I mean, look. First of all, anybody who takes stock advice from us is nuts. That's given. And I don't know about you, but I don't buy tech stocks for because I don't want to have an investment in any of these companies. But give us some advice. Would you buy Snap stock?
I wouldn't, and I would argue that the entire premise of our conversation here today is there's this Business Insider guy saying I've stopped using it, and I know this is anecdotal. Yes, it's anecdotal.
Right.
Your whole argument is ridiculous, and even with all due respect, I saw some people in Panera Bread not using. That's not a real.
Well, there are numbers survey. Though. There are
David,
numbers.
I hang out in Panera Bread every day with a clipboard.
There are numbers that show that Instagram has, in fact, taken a lot of business from Snapchat, right? Snapchat growth slowed 82% after Instagram Stories launched.
So I think that's a far more telling data point, and for that reason, I wouldn't invest. You can see it slowing down there. There you go.
Yeah.
I just can't see this thing being around in 10 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's a one-trick pony.
I have to say, when I saw Instagram Stories, I thought, well, that's a Snapchat ripoff. Why would anybody do that? So there's something I don't understand really what's going on about the migration to Instagram. I do not understand that. I don't think it's as appealing as it looks like an old person's app compared to Snap, which felt like a kid's app, a fun app.
I would argue
for the record, Does It Play in Peoria has become Does It Play at Panera.
Yes.
That's
yes.
that's the new, especially in New Jersey, right, Clayton? That's
right.
Oh, we got Panera everywhere. Panera is a very good measure.
I did an explainer for Yahoo Finance a couple months ago on Snapchat for those who don't know what it is, which is most people. And there's a lot of psychology to it that, again, limits it to this particular age and gender bracket. For example, Leo, you were pointing out how opaque it is, how hard to use, how non-intuitive. And I actually think that's part of it.
I agree.
Teens and preteens want something that their parents can't use and won't understand. And, in terms of the large female teenager thing, it's been argued that that's because women, girls, are so constantly judged today for their looks, for their behavior, for their clothing, that something that lets you send an unfiltered snap of yourself where it's not going to come back to haunt you, it's not going to be judged, is this huge psychological burden lifted. And again, though, that's kind of unique to, not solely unique, but that's a lot of teenage girls who feel
the opaqueness, you're right about that. It's like the opaqueness is what we saw in iOS 10 with the Messages app. Try to navigate that. If you're my mom, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you're a teenage girl, you're going to be able to find all these hidden things inside of the Messages app, and on purpose. Look at Pokemon Go. It's pretty opaque, and you're trying to find and navigate through that to try to figure out different menu and submenus, and it's part of the fun of the hunting and pecking of that game. I wouldn't be surprised in a future version of iOS we see a self-destructing photo feature that Sherlock's the idea of the disappearing photo from Snapchat.
There's a word, affordance, that user interface design people use. That is, an affordance is a capability of an object. Like you look at a doorknob and you can kind of intuit that it turns, and if it's got, you could push a push plate and you pull a handle. There's certain information you gather from looking at it. And of course, Snapchat and more recently Apple's Messages have all these hidden features. And I'm of the opinion it's intentional that these hidden affordances are actually a social tool because they encourage people to share, look, I figured out how to do this, and show other people, and it actually helps their word of mouth. I think Snapchat almost proved that by being completely opaque. It hid it from parents, and there was an in-group who understood it and an out-group who didn't, and then people who were in the out-group and didn't understand it, but were buddies with people who did, wanted to be in the in-group, so the buddies got some social reputation by saying, oh, I know how to do that. Watch you do that. And then you're in the in-group. And I think that was part of how it spread. But I also think that Apple saw this and said, we should probably put some hidden affordances in messages and see if the same thing can happen. And I don't know if it did, but I do have to admit, I've spent a lot of time with my 83-year-old mother showing her how to make balloons appear on an Apple message. When you do that, see what happens when you do that, you send a message to somebody and they get the confetti or the fireworks or the laser show. The first question is, how'd you do that?
How'd you do that? Exactly.
And you get some social currency by saying, oh, well, I'll show you.